The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and think it.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've removed every last virtual snowflake and replaced them with flaming marbles made of rubber. We take you away from the winter's slumber and back to Saturday night short track racing in America on iRacing Live and the Global Sim Racing Channel. Tonight, the Bootleg Racing League Outlaw Modified Series brings you round 3 with the Outlaw 100 from Oxford, Maine. Welcome home, everyone. I'm back. Sean Ambrose here with you tonight. And filling in for James, who is on assignment, Brian Yazik back with us this week. In the control room, twisting and tweaking the dials for us tonight, I'm Jed Yaman. Our amazing camera angles brought to you by the one and only Dougie Beard. Well, we're here. Brian, Oxford Plains Speedway, all the way up in the Northeast. Got 100 laps on tap tonight. Tell us all about it.
Absolutely, and if James somehow pulled an assignment to be at the 24 Hours of Daytona, I want to know who I got to talk to here at GSRC to make that happen. But anyways, back to the action tonight. Oxford Plains Speedway, one of the most interesting little short tracks on the entire iRacing service. It is a 3/8 mile lap, and all 100 laps will be 37.5 miles. So, going to be a quick one tonight. Well, we got a little bit of time here. So, some serious information on the Bootleg Outlaws. If you're not familiar with them, which you should be by now, because these guys put on a fantastic race each and every single week, the grid will be set by an inversion of the top 10 of the previous race. The remainder determined by the previous week's finish, and the rest start by finishing position from the previous week. This is a fixed setup league with a 17.7 gallon fuel load. Double file restarts, let cars out at the back. A wave by rule will be in effect from the admin side of things. Typically, it's going to be the first car one or more lap down that did not cause the caution. And my favorite rule in this entire series, no tire changes allowed. If your car goes up onto the jack and you continue racing, you will receive a stop and go penalty in the next race. But to counter that, these drivers do have one fast repair remaining, and we've got a 85 to 95% track state start. So if you're not familiar with that, that's the iRacing dynamic surfaces here. You have the option to start the race with different grip levels and marble levels and different things like that. I'm actually going to send it back to Sean. Sean.
No, I'm back, and I am sorry to leave you hanging there, Brian. We were trying to get Brian Neff in for a quick trackside interview, talk to him about the race tonight. I did talk to him pre-race. I can tell you a little bit. I do see we have a guest. I'll tell you what, let's bring Christopher Hensley in real quick. Christopher, we were able to get you to come out of the car real quick and talk to us about tonight's race at Oxford Plains. Welcome on in, Christopher Hensley. He is here tonight to talk to us. Chris, take it away.
Well, it's quite the racetrack we got here. I've seemed to be pretty good at it, but it's definitely not a favorite. But we're gonna run her wide open tonight.
So the marble's pretty tricky proposition if you get stuck in that outside line, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where you don't want to be. Definitely don't want to be on the outside. That's that's the doozy right there.
Has anybody pulled a pass off the top line yet? I know we've been talking about it all week. Has anyone managed to pull it off yet?
I believe the only one was Lowell in the last race there. He took the victory on the outside. I think I'm not sure who was underneath of him, but I think they got a little bit of that curb, and you know how that curb is. That can be a real doozy too.
Yeah, that curb comes right up. What do you think? About maybe 3 to 4 inches right up out of the surface there?
Oh yeah, that thing will kick you right sideways. That's for sure.
Yeah, and certainly off to the right down these very, very short straightaways, not the place to be, is it? The banking kind of strange there?
Yeah, I like to keep her down low. I like to come off, square off my turns, and keep her low, but obviously you can't carry the momentum into the corner doing that. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight, but it's shaping up to be a good race, hopefully.
Well, I'm sure it will be. 100 laps here tonight is certainly going to be a challenge for you and everybody else in the field. Tell old Neffy I'm sorry we couldn't get him in for a little pre-race interview. I think we had some technical difficulty there, but we'll get him in next week. And we wish you the best tonight, Chris, and have a great run. And maybe we'll get to talk to you again. Hopefully things will work out, and we'll see you here in just a short bit.
Yeah, thank you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you here in about a half hour, 40 minutes, or whatever.
Okay, buddy. We'll see you. Get back in the car, throw down some good laps here real quick before we get going.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
And that was Chris Hensley, Brian. Certainly hungry for a win. One of the great drivers on this tour here. And, man, I'll tell you what, Chris hasn't been able to make every race, but when he's here, he's always a contender. I wish him the best tonight. Lots going on here in the Bootleg Racing League. They ran several races, or a couple races before this one tonight, ran a couple on Tuesday. Brian, why don't you tell us how they did?
Absolutely. In the Whiskey Run Truck Series, we had Matt Shanuski picking up the victory in that race, starting out back and marching up through the field. It was an impressive drive there. And in their Crooked Still Late Model Series, Lowell Jewell dominated the race and took home the victory.
Yeah, and then they ran on Tuesday night. They run every Tuesday night. They run the Legends Series, and then they run the late models, limited late models. And in the Legends, Ryan Nuss was the big winner last week, or I say last Tuesday. And in the White Lightning limited late models, Donnie Moore was your big winner there. I actually ran in that race and managed the top 10. That was a fun evening for me and a good win for Donnie. So lots of work at this track already this week, and lots of experience out there. Many laps turned already. We got one last race, one last set of 100 laps to go already on the practice board here. We've got Brian Neff sitting at the top. Didn't do so well in the last race. He had early, he was strong early and then kind of faded. I think he finished somewhere 8th or 9th in that race. Not looking at it right now, but he's sitting atop the board right now. Christopher Hensley got back in the car. He's sitting up there in second in practice. And Holloway, Mike Holloway, sitting in third. Ernie Brown in fourth. Matt Hoos in fifth right now on the practice board. None of that really matters, though, because you did talk about that. They will invert the field from last week's finish there at Stafford. And that means this week that is going to put... Who's going to be on the pole this week, Brian? I lost track
by
here.
By the 10th place finisher not being here tonight, that's probably going to bump Tim Knott up to the pole.
That's correct. Yes, Wolfson is a no-show right now. You're right about that.
Yep, Tim Knott, Lowell Jewell, Mike Holloway, Philip Temple is here. Yep, there he is. I didn't find him on my timing and scoring sheet. Ryan Nuss, Matt Hoos, Brian Neff, who finished a little bit better than you thought there, Sean. Vern Bradley, who will be sitting out because of some over-aggressive racing. And Donnie Moore will kind of go from the outhouse to the penthouse. Win it last week, go ahead and start 10th this week. And this is not an easy track because you're never, ever straight. You're constantly turning the wheel.
Yeah, you are. And I'll tell you what, the championship is heating up. This is race number 3, okay? So only 11 races in this series. So we're just about to the quarter stick here. tonight. And going into that, right now, Matt Hoos is your leader in the clubhouse with 25 points right now. 1 win on the season. There sits Brian Neff, who had another good run last week. 24 points. Second place, looking for a win. He needs one. He wants one. Can he get it tonight? Donnie Moore sits there in third with the big win he had last week. Propels himself up to third. Actually tied with Holloway for third right now. 18 points. Vern Bradley sits in fifth with 17, tied with Ryan Nuts in sixth. Ryan Edwards Kiss, seventh with 15 points. And then these guys right here got to get going. Tim Knott, Chris Hensley, who we just talked to, and Philip Temples, they got to get busy. 14, 13 points respectively. They've got a lot of work to do to get to those 25 points of Hoos, Neff, and more up there. And you know, Hoos and Neff starting to pull away. Another consistent race from them this week could really leave the rest of these guys behind the 8 ball, get to, like I said, the quarterway point of the season. Then you got to start hoping for guys to have bad luck. And if you're counting on that, then maybe your program's not coming together like you thought it would, because I'll tell you what, I don't like depending on other people to decide my fate. I don't know about you, Brian.
No, sir. It's the exact reason why I have a love-hate relationship with restrictor plate racing.
Yeah. Well, lots of restrictor plate racing going on right now for sure, especially here on iRacing. As a lot of folks are getting ready for the Daytona 500 coming up here in February. And, of course, we still have a lot of road racers out on the course enjoying the 24 hours of Daytona run here on iRacing Live last week. Lowell Jewell, a competitor of several of the guys here in the Bootleg Racing League brand. And Lowell and his team had a pretty solid run. They found some early trouble, rebounded, and made a good night of it, a good 24 hours of it nonetheless. So hats off to all those guys that competed last week. I myself was part of a team, did some spotting and some crew chief work, and man, what a grind for everyone. 24 hours is 24 hours, and anyone that thinks iRacing is just a game, they are sadly mistaken, because when you sign up for those 24 hours, you live every minute of it, or you sleep very briefly through some of it. But yeah, that's, again, was great, and still lots of that going on. It's going on live right now from Daytona. We know several who are there and enjoying themselves right now, but we got to get through this one here tonight at Oxford Plains. Practice getting ready to wrap up here in just over a minute. We're going to be green flag in under 5 minutes, race fans, and tonight everybody has something on the line because, yeah, we're still early in the season, still a lot of ground to be made up. A lot of guys looking to make their mark here tonight. And as I say that, Joe Marks, who had a good run in the last race, looking to get up near the front this week. Can he do it? Matt Shinosky would love to see himself up front tonight. So Ryan Edwards Kiss, he was a strong contender last season, hasn't really shown his teeth yet. Sits back there 7th in points with 15 of them right now. And, you know, he'd like to be back up near the front tonight. He's usually a late charger. So maybe we'll see him rear his head in that Home Depot number 20 machine before the night is over, Brian.
That is correct, but judging by practice times right now, this is going to be a very, very close race. You're really going to have to probably muscle your way underneath a couple guys to gain that track position, because just looking at practice, your top 8 in practice are separated by less than 1/10 of a second. So that's from Brian Neff down to Ryan Edwards Kiss. When practice is that close, especially on the oval side, and especially on a short track, it just makes it that much more difficult to try to gain any kind of advantage. So yeah, you're going to have to find yourself probably using the front bumper of these cars to try to clear some room.
And that's what we wanted to talk to Brian Neff about, was that front bumper, and wanted to make sure he had that chrome horn shined up tonight and ready for the rear end of Donnie Moore possibly. I heard he had picked up a hose clamp sponsor for Donnie, and I don't know if Donnie had time to get that sponsor on the car, but it might be on there next week, so we'll see. But we do get ready to start this race. They are gridding up now. Brian, let's run the grid down for everybody here on the Global Sim Racing Channel and iRacing Live. Chris Wolfson will be your pole sitter from the great state of Pennsylvania. Chris Wolfson on the pole in number 17. Tim Knott in number 41 will start second outside front row. Lowell Jewell won just a few minutes ago. He'll start third on the inside. That's the place to be. Mike Holloway is going to be right outside of him in fourth. Philip Temple's in fifth tonight. The number 19, Ryan Nuss, the number 13, will be on the outside of row 3.
In seventh place, Matt Hoos, Michigan's own Matt Hoos. In eighth place, Brian Neff. In ninth, Donnie Moore, followed by Ralph Connor Jr. in 10th. In 11th goes to Joe Marks, and 12th goes to Matt Shinowski.
And rounding out this field, the last 4 cars, Ryan Edwards Kiss in 13th. Christopher Hensley will start 14th tonight. Ernie Brown, 15th in the Krankenstein Racing Machine, and John Holcomb repping the Indianapolis Colts in the number 16 tonight. Here we go, Brian. They're coming around one last time, side by side, heading down the back stretch. I'll take a quick pick here and give me Lowell Jewell tonight. What about you, Brian?
I'm going to be a Michigan supporter. I'm a Michigan man myself. I'm going with Michigan's own Matt Hoos.
All righty, well, we'll take that. All right, here we go. Ford Mustang pace car is in. Nuss off on the gas. There we go. I'm sorry, Wolfson on the gas. He's on it and out to the lead, side by side through 1 and 2. Down the back, they're still side by side. Neff already laying the horn to someone. Who's laying it to Ryan Nuss.
Everybody's going to make it clean through the back part of this field. I'm surprised. Little slight contact there. The usual suspect there. Brian Neff making some room, trying to get through this field early. He knows that he's got to make hay while the sun is shining.
Man, they are spreading out quick. Already got a whole turn between Wolfson and the end of the field. And right now, that would be John Holcomb still sitting there in the back. 3.5 seconds back, in fact, from the leader. When you're doing less than 15-second laps, that's losing ground quick here. 100 laps, early days, certainly lap 4 in the books, coming across for 5 right now, but your leader still, Chris Wolfson. Tim Knott follows. Lowell Jewell sticking in third right there. Philip Temple's with him.
And looking back there, he's got a nice little battle between... Oh, Temple's going way off onto the track. They're way off into the grass.
Yeah, and that's Oxford Plains for you. When you run off, baby, you run off all the way onto the back 40.
Oh, we got more problems out back.
We're on the replay right now on board with Philip Temples, and now the yellow's out. During this replay, the yellow has come out.
That was
That looked like that was Ernie Brown in the Krankenstein machine. Something happened to Ernie there.
Ernie Brown and John Holcomb came together, I believe, is what triggered the caution.
Yeah, we're catching it on the replay right now. That's coming up on your screen here, race fans. Looking in on Ernie Brown. Oh, he comes down, gets spun right there, and off into the dirt he goes. That brings out the caution flag, but before that, who was that got thrown all the way off the track? Was that Lowell? That was Lowell Jewell that got spun all the way down off into the grass. And I mean, when I said back 40, I meant 40 acres, folks. That car went all the way back there. Finally made his way back up on the track, but he lost a lot of time. Still manages to stay on the lead lap. I think everybody does here, Brian. We should be in good shape here to get restarted.
Looks like it. It looks like Ernie Brown has hit pit road. I believe he has. He's used his quick repair this early in the race. So.
And there will be no wave buys on this restart. Matt Hoos in race control has just given the command. There will be no wave buys this time. Matt does a good job of working that during these races, and you know it's a tough thing to do, to be out there racing for position and have to manage the admin aspect of keeping these races in order. So hats off to him for handling all that as well as he does every week, and he is off to a good start this evening. The Reds SK Modified sitting in third right now in this restart. They are side by side getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. Chris Wolfson still your leader. Tim Knott up on the outside. Matt Hoos on the inside. And Donnie Moore found his way up into the top 4 already from 9th place. Here we go. Wolfson on the pedal and across the start-finish line. Your leader into one. Everybody fighting behind him, 2 wide through 1 and 2. And there's Brian Neff finds his way up to 3rd place already. Where'd he come from? What a restart for him.
Keeping an eye out back. There's been a lot of close calls back here.
Wolfson gets Neff gets a piece of Wolfson. I'm sorry, not Wolfson, but I'm losing it all terribly. Gets a piece of Hoos. Hoos does a great job of keeping the car on the track. Neff backs off and sits there still in 3rd, and trouble in 1 and 2. Cars around. Brian, did you catch it? The green flag is still out.
Yep, Ralph Connor Jr. kind of found his way off into the dirt. Nobody went around, but you kind of catch this on the replay right here. There's a little contact. We'll watch Ralph Connor decide to take that thing off-road. Oh, 3 wide ain't going to work around here. That's what happened.
Yeah, Tim Knott got collected in that as also, and man, what a tough break. So now what that's allowed the field to do is they're just in a line. Everybody has settled down, realizing, hey, we've still got 85, now 84 laps left to go. Battle for the lead. Hoos got it down inside, and he takes it away from Wolfson. Neff there trying to get it inside of Wolfson, and he does. Wolfson stuck up top, no place to go. Matt Hoos now the leader of this race, 17 laps in, and Brian Neff has worked his way up to 2nd.
Great start to the race for these guys, starting 7th and 8th, and now they're running 1-2 on the track. If you're watching last week, this should be no surprise to you. Now what's going to be the question is, are Hoos and Neff going to be able to keep the tires underneath those cars? Like we said in the pre-race, no tire changes. What you got is what you got.
Well, we saw a lot of hard racing here in just the early laps of this race. Guys locking them up and having to make evasive moves. That is going to take its toll.
3rd place. Oh, big problems. 3, 4 cars. 1 car upside down.
And it looks like that might have started with Wolfson, and just a chain reaction from there. We're going to catch it on the replay now. Watching real closely here from above, trying to catch it. And you see Wolfson there, lead of that pack. Man, I don't know if that was net code or just the car getting loose, but he spins and everybody makes an evasive move behind him to avoid it. And man, that collected a lot of cars there, Brian. Did you see contact? I did not see contact.
It was close enough, where it could have gone either way, whether it was net code or whether it was some slight contact.
I'll tell you, it was awful close, but I just didn't see the contact. It looks like maybe the car just got loose right there. Hard to say. We looked at it enough. It's time to move on. There will be no wave bys again, as Matt Hoos just called out, let everybody know. These restarts here do not take long. Not a lot of laps wasted here at Oxford Plains. One of the fun things about this track, seems like everybody's going to walk away from that fairly unscathed. We still have everybody in the race. Wolfson manages to get the car on the track still. Not really seeing much, if any, damage on that car. Don't know if he went in the pits or not. He may have gotten a quick repair, but like I said, right now that car looks fine. Everybody's still on the lead lap. A lot of cars tonight, 16 of them here on this little bitty 3/8 mile track. Matt Hoos is your leader. Brian Neff still in 2nd. Donnie Moore up to 3rd. From 9th place, Philip Temples sitting there in 4th. And Matt Shinoski rounding out the top 5. So here we go, side by side, getting ready to do it one more time.
Really quick note, Nuss was on pit road to use his quick repair.
Okay, we'll have to keep our eyes on him. He'll be moving back through the field. Here we go. The Ford Mustang pace car is in. And there goes Hoos, shot out of a cannon. Neff going to settle in right behind. Plenty of time to go. Car stuck up on the outside. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Looked like that was Temples getting just a little bit of the bumper of Donnie Moore. Going to try and send Donnie home. Oh! Oh, and he's over the bump on the inside. Is the yellow going to come out?
Smoke is pouring out of that engine. That one is, that's not a good way to start the night.
Matt Shinoski Gets that car down inside. Watching the replay here real quick. You see him caught down there. He hit that bump that we were talking about in the pre-race, and it shot the car up into the light standard there, the anthill, if you will. And that got the car all out of shape. He manages to get the car into the pit and keep this green flag going.
Quick repair and out, but now he's going to be in the perfect spot to get the wave by when the next caution comes out.
Question is, will he lose 2 laps as a result of that? He just may. So he'll have a lot of work to do. These guys are going to come around quick. Matt Hoos, Brian Neff really starting to kind of open it up just a little bit. They're in a groove. They're working with each other. But man, in their mirror, tracking and coming for him is Donnie Moore. Donnie, no stranger to winning. But man, these two up front are pretty hungry. I know Brian Neff is, and so is Matt Hoos. And right now they're making it look a little too easy. Still 70 laps to go. And a lot of time to have to take care of those tires and not burn them off. Neff starting to maybe have just a little bit of a trouble with the handle on the car.
Oh.
Wolfson. Yeah, Chris Wolfson has trouble. We're going to pull that up on the replay. Wolfson was already there in the back of the pack, and we're looking at him now. Oh, and it looks like he got a little bit of a love tap there. Got a little help going around. Doesn't make any contact with anybody else. Just scuffs off those tires, man. And that's, what we talked about earlier is taking care of these tires. Every time that car goes around, you're looking at it on the replay. And, yeah, it looks like maybe Nuss might have made a little bit of contact there with the left rear. And that was all the help he needed to get around. So we've had a rash of caution flags. The last race, the late model race, went green to checkers. And they were hoping to maybe get another one of those here out of this. And folks, please do not be surprised if this is the last caution flag we see. It was cracking up to go that way here for just a moment. And then we had just a little bit of trouble there. But we're going to get back to it real quick. Looking at the rear end of Matt Hoos's car, I see a little wrinkle in that bumper. I wonder where that might have come from. Any guesses, Brian?
I'm going to guess that Brian Neff is going to have to polish up the chrome horn again this week in the off week.
Gonna need to put a little bit of a buff job on that. Yeah, absolutely.
Your spit shine.
Yeah, a little spit shine. Well, your top 5 is shaking up just a little bit. Now the top 3 is still the same. Matt Hoos, Brian Neff, Donnie Moore. Philip Temple's sitting in 4th. Christopher Hensley has made his way up to 5th. And John Holcomb, coming all the way from the back of the field tonight, finds himself sitting there in 6th. So good run. Lowell Jewell, not too bad, still sitting in 7th. Everybody's still in this race right now. A lot of distance left to go. A lot of action still coming your way here, Brian.
Absolutely, Matt Shanuski, got the wave by right there. So that caution couldn't have worked out any more perfectly for him. Get the engine repaired in 3.5 seconds. You can't ever argue with that when they could drop a new motor that fast. And now he's right back into it. So now the goal for him is just going to be surviving, because he has burned up his kind of his free pass back into it. So
all right, here we go. The pace car's in. Man, Hoos didn't waste any time at all. He's on it quick. Brian Neff was right there with him. Oh, Temples gets caught up on the outside. Donnie Moore is able to get away from those two. That's Temples and Hensley fighting back there. And it allows the top 3 to kind of get away for just a moment. Oh, little love tap there from Neff on Hoos. He wants to get going, get out of the way.
Yeah, I've heard of bump drafting around the plate tracks, but bump drafting around here might not go that good. But Neff is all over the rear bumper of Matt Hoos. But once again, it seems like Hoos can just kind of squeak away on the exit and kind of put away any charge that Brian Neff might be able to make.
Hey, listen, you will see that at any short track in America every Saturday night. Nothing wrong with that. Neff just playing with him, just kind of setting up. Oh, Shanoski and Nuss around, and the yellow flag is back out. Looks like Shanoski hit pretty hard there.
Motor's blowing on that one, smoke trailing out of it.
Yeah, he went right into the wall there, the outside wall, and that was a hard hit. That car definitely in need of a fast repair. It's in the pit now.
He used it on the last caution.
Oh, that's right. You said he had come in.
Yeah, this is his second time down pit road.
Yeah, we'll bring that replay back up one more time here. Take a look. There's Nuss on the inside. And it looks like they just kind of came together there. A little bit of contact. Kind of a racing deal. But cars certainly beat up there, and that is probably going to end the night for Matt Shanoski. That's a tough break for him. He had just gotten the wave around prior to that restart, and now he looks like his night might be done. Nuss coming down the pit lane. Ernie Brown in there. He's a lap down right now. That might have been our big one there.
That's certainly going to change the outlook of this one.
It hasn't changed things up front. Who's still in the lead? Neff still following him. Following him real closely.
I'm going to say, if you're Brian Neff, I mean, this is the same story as it was last week at Stafford. Just being able to get right all over the rear bumper of the guy in front of you. You just can't get around him. I mean, I'm sure that by now he's probably getting a little bit of a big red messed up more there.
All right, well, here we go. And Hoos is away. Quickly, Neff settles right back in behind again. And there's Donnie Moore in third. No change with the top three. Christopher Hensley fighting for fourth. The battle is up front. Neff just all over the bumper of Hoos.
He is not messing around, but what it's doing is he's not being able to get a good run, and that's keeping Donnie Moore tucked right up into this battle. I mean, your top six. I mean, we talk about the popcorn position here on GSRC a lot, and I would say the guy in fifth could very well be in the popcorn position. Lowell Jewell, he could just sit back there and watch everybody wreck in front of him.
Good point. He certainly could. I'll tell you what, the racing is hard and fast up front. Matt Hoos doing all he can to hold off Brian Neff right now. Neff just keeps giving him the business. Donnie Moore with a front row ticket to the show, watching the battle. Christopher Hensley close behind. Ryan Edwards Kiss now up in the top five. Take that back. That was Lowell Jewell that's moved up to fifth. Ryan Edwards Kiss right behind him, Brian.
Whoa, Neff got a little bit loose off of four. Let Hoos get away, but that brings Donnie Moore right back into it. Donnie Moore seems to be, he'll take him however he can get him. And when you look at last week, he inherited the lead from the leaders kind of beating and banging off of each other. So, he's probably, right now, he just has to keep Christopher Hensley behind him and keep these two guys out front and just let them whack at each other.
I love this shot right here that we use over that left front wheel. You were just seeing there on your screen. Lowell Jewell having a really nice run. He's up to fifth, working on Christopher Hensley. He's got Brian Edwards Kiss working on him, though. They're nose to tail, first to last. Here we go. Halfway point of the race is gone. Lap 52 is working.
Seems like that little slide off of the corner maybe put a little bit more heat into Brian Neff's rear tires than he probably wanted to. The last 2 or 3 laps, Hoos has been able to stretch that gap out just a little bit and a little bit more. And Hoos has actually been running the fastest lap on the tracks.
Little trouble Holloway there. Mike Holloway, he spins, has not brought out the yellow flag. Leaders coming around. He's got to get busy, and he manages to.
He is on it. Just now he's got to worry about the hard-charging Matt Hoos coming up and try to put him a lap down.
Yes, sir. He's going to have to paddle hard here. because Nuss is ready to come and put him a lap down, like you just mentioned. Holloway sitting in fourth right now. Turned a pretty good lap right there. I don't think he hurt the car at all. He certainly still has the speed. He's definitely got the talent. Can he manage to keep that distance between him and Hoos and maybe hope for a caution flag here? And our leader, Matt Hoos, starting to open things up just a little bit. Just about a second on Brian Neff now. And Neff, in return, has put some distance between him and Donnie Moore. So things definitely spreading out as we start getting a little bit deeper into this race. I think we've got a few drivers who might be trying to take it easy on those tires right now, Brian.
That very well could be the case. I mean, I'm kind of looking at Neff and Moore running second and third on track. You know, they could just be sitting back, letting a little bit of this race unfold, but they can't sit back too long because the way that we were cranking out laps here in the 15-second bracket, we're already 40 laps to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and I talked about the caution periods here at Oxford Plains. They don't last long, so yeah, this race is hustling along right before our eyes. I'll tell you what, Matt Hoos looking like a champion this evening. That Reds L machine is hooked up, and the Winn-Dixie 60, make no mistake, Brian Neff is hooked up, but Matt Hoos just seems to be on a mission tonight. Wants to secure his place in the championship lead. Would love to get 2 victories here early in the season, right before the quarter waypoint, and he is putting on a clinic, as they say. Donnie Moore, Christopher Hensley still fighting. Lowell Jules still holding down 5th. The battle right now is 5th and 6th, or I'm sorry, 6th for 6th place. Philip Temples working on Ryan Edwards' Kiss. Those two are battling right now. That is an important position. Certainly, your best way to get to the podium is to get in the top 5 and then go from there. And right now, Temples manages to pull that off and get around Ryan Edwards' Kiss. So Kiss maybe starting to have a little bit of trouble with the handle on the car, Brian.
Very well could be the case. Actually, he disappeared from my screen for a split second there, and now he's back. Do we remember, about 60 laps ago when Lowell Jewell was sitting in turn 3 in the grass backwards? Yeah, he's 5th now.
Yeah, I think Lowell this evening, based on the previous race, has proven himself to be a bit of a tactician here. I think he's got a plan and he's sticking to it. Seems to be paying off for him right now. But he's got a little company. He's got Philip Temples has made his way pretty close to him. He's got a little bit of work to do, but Temples will be there soon. He is on rails right now, and they've got a car in between them. They got the lap car of I'm sorry, I missed that. Holloway between him right now, so a little bit of work there to get done.
Everybody's spaced out just a little bit. Really, no one's charging at anybody. The closest battle I can actually find is back here for 9th and 10th between Ralph Connor Jr. and Ryan Nuss. These guys have been kind of all over each other. We're watching Nuss try to take the inside line away from Ralph. He's going to try to get the position going down into turn 1. He's got the preferred line. Now, Connor, he's got to sneak back in line so he doesn't get freight trained anymore from Tim Knott. It looks like that's exactly what he's going to do.
That's where the real racing's going on right now, is back there. Not much going on up front there. They're certainly battling, but they're really spread out. And Kiss he's stuck in 7th right now, but lost the handle on that car just a few laps ago. Lost a couple positions as a result of it, and now hopes to maybe have that car come back to him here in the last 20 laps or so, if he's got a chance to get in the top 5.
Oh, contact! Ralph Connor Jr. goes off into the grass out by turn 4 with the help of the front bumper of Tim Knott.
We'll pull that up on the replay. That does not bring out a caution flag. Again, the runoffs here being so spread out, it's realistic to not get a flag. We're watching here from above. Contact right there, you see it. And he is sliding all the way off into the grass. That is a long trip back there into the trees. Back to the action on the track. We see Ralph Connor Jr. still under power in 14th place. Up there on the high side, though, is not where you want to be. A lot of rubber and marbles up there, and the car just will not hang on.
No, and I think what happens is when you've got all these, when you got the same tires that you started the race with, and you get them mad and angry a couple times, that's it. I mean, really, the only thing that could help you out would be a caution to try to cool it all down. And even at that point, you still might not have the same grip level of someone that's been able to take care of their stuff throughout this race. I mean, we're kind of looking at Matt Hoos right now. He's marching away, has a giant lead over second place of Ryan Neff, and he's still running competitive lap time. So I'm wondering if Hoos is just trying to march it away, build up a big enough lead so by the time that maybe his stuff burns out, Neff's stuff is more burnt out and he can't catch him, or when he decides to start catching him, that there won't be enough time left to make a move. We saw that happen last week as well.
Well, I'll tell you, they've just about gotten to the point where they've spread out so much there isn't they're close to almost not an empty spot on the track right now. Nose to tail, not really, but certainly spread out in a ring around this track, high above from the blimp. It's a pretty cool sight, but you got to be paying attention to know where everybody's at. And we're going to run it down for you here real quick. Matt Hoos still your leader. Brian Neff in second. Donnie Moore sits in third. Christopher Hensley in fourth. Lowell Jewell hanging on to fifth. Phil Temple sitting there in sixth. Ryan Kiss hanging on to seventh. John Holcomb on his way in eighth. Ryan Nuss in ninth. Tim Knott rounding out the top 10 right now. Those guys have got to get busy. Tim Knott almost 11 seconds off the pace of Matt Hoos right now.
As it shakes out, let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of keeping an eye on a couple other things going on around the track, but at this point in the race, this seems like this is Hoos's race to give up with 18 laps to go, 17 laps to go now.
Well, 16 now even, Brian, and I'll tell you what, I'm beginning to wonder if he's going to have to battle with some lap traffic. I see Chris Wolfson, one of the cars up in front of him there, and that could be a tricky position to be in. Joe Marks also there. If he gets to those guys and has to work around them, Joe Marks just got loose or maybe just a little tight into the turn, had to lock him up. With just laps to go, you're coming up on the back of the field and you're trying to win the race. That is not a position you want to be in, is it, Brian?
I could think of better ones.
Yeah, clean air, nice, clean, empty track. Oh, and that Wolfson down on the inside, he got loose. I'm kind of watching those guys because here comes your leader, Matt Hoos. He's going to get to Wolfson. Still plenty of laps to go here. Hopefully Wolfson just gets out of the way. Brian Neff just got passed. Neff just got passed by Donnie Moore. Donnie Moore pulls off a pass on Neff. No, I'm sorry. My bad.
That was a lap traffic, I believe.
Yeah, that was Ralph Connor Jr. actually got around Neff. And now Neff almost gets into Ralph Connor Jr. Maybe did even make just a little bit of contact. Neff diving it down inside. He wants to get away from Ralph Connor Jr. at this point. Ralph 2 laps down. Neff able to do it there. Finally, Donnie Moore was allowed to get to Neff right there. Neff, who had pulled away from Donnie. Now Donnie in the hunt. Going to try and take a second away from Neff in the closing laps of the race. Just 11 to go now. Matt Hoos still looking pretty good. He's got Wolfson right in front of him.
Jumping back, there's going to be a battle here between Ryan Nuss and Ryan Edwards Kiss, a Ryan and Ryan show. Ryan is Edwards Kiss is kind of dancing around the track a little bit, some connection issues.
He's been having those throughout the race, to be honest with you, and I wonder if that's maybe cost him some of those positions. Now, Nuss going to have to work really hard to try and get around him. That's a tough condition to get around when someone's blinking in and out there with a connection issue, and he's just going to have to battle through it. And brother, he is battling right now. He is all over the rear end of Ryan Edwards Kiss. And Kiss able to get away there, runs a little bit better line. Nuss not going away, though. He's got John Holcomb right behind him.
This one could potentially end up in tears for one of these two drivers. Nuss had about a nose underneath Edwards' Kiss, but then Ryan Edwards just slammed the door shut on Nuss and Nuss actually had to check up just a hair. Kind of watching it again. He's trying to get the low line to work off of the bottom, but it's just you can't get the car wound up enough as you can if you take more of a straighter line. But he's going to try to get a good run here. Oh, trouble! Ryan Edwards' Kiss goes around. Oh.
Well, that brings the yellow out. The replay is coming up here real quick.
Did I not just say that this is going to end in tears for somebody?
You definitely did, and as we look at the replay there's Nuss down below, gets the left rear of Ryan Edwards' Kiss, and around he goes. Winds up pointing in the right direction.
I believe that will end this race as well.
It
I'm
will.
Looking with 3 to go, and Hoos has just now caught the pace car, so let me come in the 2 to go. So yeah, well, Matt Hoos is going to take this one today.
Well, I have a feeling he was going to take it anyway. He had actually managed to clear Wolfson with very little trouble at all. Chris, being a good sport there, kind of got out of the way and let Hoos get around. That's going to lock up a second place for Brian Neff. I know he's going to be just absolutely tickled about that. Hopefully we'll be able to get him in for an interview. I would certainly hate to not be able to talk to Brian Neff on such a glorious evening where he pulls off a podium finish. So we'll see. Hopefully he can manage his technology and make it in for us with an interview when we get done here. But that right there, folks, is the white flag. And your leader, Matt Hoos, we will not restart this race tonight. It will finish under yellow. And a wonderful green flag run going there to the finish. Honestly, Brian, really good race tonight. Really run well. The incidents were, we had the one that I labeled the big one, if you will. But that was about it. But here we go. The pace car coming around here for the checkered flag. And your winner, Matt Hoos, the winner of the Outlaw 100 tonight at Oxford Plains Speedway in Oxford, Maine. And just behind him, Brian Neff in second. And rounding out our podium tonight is going to be Donnie Moore. No, he's going to love that. Donnie's going to be just absolutely happy about that. Great finish for him. So your championship leaders finish literally 1, 2, 3, and they will remain that way in the championship hunt. 1, 2, 3 as we head out of Oxford Plains Speedway tonight. And Matt Hoos again across the start-finish line. Here he is celebrating now, going to spin that car around, cut a few donuts. We're going to step away for a moment, take a quick break, come back, give you the results, talk to these guys about it, and then talk a little bit about where we'll be next week, Brian. We'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back here to the Global Sim Racing Channel and iRacing Live. Just wrapped up 100 laps at Oxford Plains Speedway here in Oxford, Maine. Woo, baby, what a race. Brian, that was fun. Let's take a look at the results and run it down for everybody here. 16 cars, SK Modifieds lined up strong tonight. Matt Hoos was your winner. First place, started 7th. Brian Neff started 8th, right behind him, finishes 2nd on the podium. Donnie Moore, he started 9th. Go figure, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and those guys are on the podium, 1, 2, 3. Donnie Moore, your 3rd place finisher. Christopher Hensley, good night for him, 14th, up to 4th finish. Lowell Jewell, he had a pretty solid night, man, consistent, 50 to 55, comes home in 5th. Philip Temples, he finishes 6th tonight. Ryan Nuss had a little bit of trouble. He rebounds, manages to finish the race. 7th place, not a bad night. John Holcomb, great night for him. He starts 16th, finishes 8th. Tim Knott, he had all kinds of trouble all night, but manages to come home 9th on the lead lap. And 10th place, Ryan Edwards-Kiss, just looks like he lost the handle. Might have had some connection issues going on. He'll take 10th tonight.
Rounding out the field in 11th, Joe Marks, followed by Chris Wolfson in 12th. In 13th goes to Mike Holloway, 14th to Ralph Connor Jr., and now we start getting back to guys that wish that they were having a better night, maybe sitting on a beach, drinking a nice drink underneath a nice soft umbrella. Matt Shinosky finished 15th, and Ernie Brown in the Krankenstein machine, shotgun on the field, 16th.
Man, we're going to get you there on that Shinosky name. I promise,
I'm
Brian. We're going to get you there,
a
man.
Flaming bag of dog poo to show up at my house because of him.
He might just be the kind of guy to do it. Hey, you know what? Enough listening to us. Let's talk to these guys and let's talk to them about the race they had tonight. First, we'll start off with Donnie Moore. Gonna bring Donnie in the booth. Donnie, well, another really good, solid run for you tonight. And guess what? You're still going to be 3rd in the points when we leave here tonight.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the 2 guys in front of me in points finish 1, 2 tonight, so that doesn't help, but I'll take 3rd.
Well, you're going to save money on hose clamps this week. You didn't have Neff behind you the whole race.
Yeah, I know. He was he was really getting getting a jump on me on the restarts. He was anticipating Matt's restarts every time, so yeah, I couldn't get by him. But yeah, the motor held out this time.
Yes, it did, and speaking of Neff, he did. The restarts were really key tonight. He was really keying on Hoos well, and he was able, it seemed like every time, to able to just tuck that car in right behind him. You never were able to get a nose in under him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he got good jumps in. I wasn't too upset about it. If a yellow flag came out, being on the inside is good. So, but geez, that long green flag run, I caught him a little bit, but I couldn't get by him. But Matt was the class tonight.
Yeah, Matt really was. He had it dialed in. You know what? Next week is going to be fun. We're going to head into race 4. Head on over to Southern National Motorsports, the Motorsports Park, the premiere of that track for the Bootleg Racing League. What are your thoughts going into next week?
Oh, I'm excited about next week. That's a fun track. Yeah, we're gonna have a good show next week.
Yeah, you almost sound giddy like a little girl on Christmas morning.
Talking to you, Sean. Nice to have you back too, by the way.
Yes, and it's nice to be back. I missed you boys last Saturday night, and really enjoyed this race tonight. Oxford Plains Speedway did not disappoint, and thanks again for coming in. Great run for you. We look forward to seeing you next week, sir.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
All right, Donnie. That was Donnie Moore, the driver, the number 26. Great finish for him tonight. Brian Neff, a great finish for him. He comes home in 2nd. We'll bring him down, and we'll let Neff talk to Brian Yazik. Brian has caught up with him down there celebrating his 2nd place finish. Brian, take it away.
Yeah, we'll have the Brian and Brian show going on here. So, Brian, tell me about your night.
Oh, I just wish I had a better starting spot than I had. Had a really good race car early. Got a whole new front end on it, all the way up to the steering wheel. So was looking forward to a really good race tonight, and just had to work a little too hard to get up there, and then it was follow the leader for a little too long for me.
Yeah, we were commenting about it up in the booth, and I'm kind of curious. You're not afraid to use the front bumper of that car, so do you have to keep polishing that chrome bumper up front? Do you have a nice sponsorship deal lined up with, like a Turtle Wax or something like that?
Actually, we have a sponsor. They just replace that every race. That way it looks good next week.
Well, there you go. We're also commenting. You were getting great restarts all night tonight. Kind of, how you're pulling that one? Just kind of anticipating what Matt was going to do, and you kind of got it right because every single time you were able to get right close to him.
Well, it was more beneficial for Matt to start in the middle of the corner. I knew that. I knew he would start there every time. I just needed to stay with him till we got on the straightaway so I could get in behind him. Here, there's really no way to pass on the outside. You have to pretty much try and get down low as quick as you can, and that's pretty much what I did.
Hey, Neff, I reported before the race that you had secured a hose clamp sponsor for Donnie Moore. Is there any truth to that? Will there be a new sponsor on his car next week?
Well, yeah, I don't know. He's got a pretty good crew chief for the SK, but his truck guys, I don't know if they're all from Maine or what it is. I think we might get him a little sponsorship or at least some training for those guys on how to put hose clamps on because they cost him a win tonight in the truck race, and he doesn't even want to talk about it, so he's pretty upset about it.
Great win, Neff, or a great podium tonight.
Hopefully next week you'll say great win, Neff. Matt did his job tonight. I mean, he kept it on the bottom. He blocked low off. He did everything he could, and I just finally ran out of stuff. I made 3 mistakes in the same lap and caught that curb there, and that was enough to let him get out in front of me, and I just couldn't pull him back in.
That's what we were saying up here. Hey, we're going to let you get back and kind of enjoy your second place, getting ready for the debut of Southern National Motorsports Park. And any kind of final thoughts on tonight or looking forward to next week?
Yeah, looking forward to next week. Like I said, we're trying a bunch of new stuff. Got a bunch of new equipment in the front end of this car, and there's a little bit of a learning curve for me, but I'm pretty happy. Look forward to next week, and hope I can be back here next week.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you next week. Then have yourself a great week, or a great night, and a great week.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That was the voice of our second place finisher, Brian Neff. Sean, you've caught up with our winner, Michigan's own Matt Hoos, and may I point out my pick to win tonight?
Yes, he was, and there was no commentator's curse on him. The Reds Apple Ale machine in victory lane. I have to ask, Matt, would they say that was a refreshingly hard win?
Yes, it was. That was pretty refreshing at that track. It's usually not one of my better tracks, and it was a hard win with Neff and Donnie right there behind me. I knew I couldn't afford to make any mistakes and just had to hug the bottom and hope Neff would wear his tires out or at least his bumper out on me.
Hey, I've always got to assume there are people in here that are watching this broadcast that may have never even seen this before, and they really have no idea what they may be watching. Tell these viewers tonight, our race fans, what is it like when you've got a guy like Neff on you and he just keeps giving you the business a little bit every lap, not trying to wreck you, but just keeps reminding you he's there? What does it feel like from the standpoint of you there in your cockpit, and what goes through your mind in that moment?
Man, Sean's asking the hard questions tonight. Well, when you got a guy like Neff behind you, first of all, you wonder how hard he's going to push you and, if you're going to get the bumper or not. But, I mean, that's short track racing, and
I know that we're all pretty equal, and he's pretty hard to beat. And so when you got him behind you, you really got to keep it in your head that you don't want to wear your tires out, you don't want to push it too hard, and that it's my job to set the pace up there, and he's got to find the way around.
Well, you definitely showed us. You put on a clinic in car control tonight, and really just a great job. You threw down some monster laps and really came away with a nice, clean victory tonight. That caution flag at the end didn't matter. You were going to win the race, no doubt. But next week we head to Southern National Motorsports Park for the first time. Share your thoughts with us. How much time have you got to spend on the track, and what do you think about going there next week in the modified?
Well, like everybody else has said, I'm really looking forward to that track. Since that track came out, we've run a lot of practice races there, and every practice race we've had side-by-side racing, multiple laps at a time, and I think you're going to see a lot of passing and a real good race. Hope I don't jinx us by saying that, but I think we will.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that was a great race tonight. Hats off to you. You maintain your lead right now in the championship standings. We're just about to the quarterway point of the season. You've got a real good grip on it right now. You got to feel good after tonight.
Oh, feel great. I gotta go grab me another Reds and sit down and soak this one in and wait till next week and see if we can't get another one, or at least top 5 to stay atop the points.
All right, Matt. Well, we'll see you next week. Again, congratulations here from GSRC, and we will see you next week. That was Matt Hoos, driver of the number 21 Reds L machine. He is your big winner here at Oxford Plains tonight. Brian, share your final thoughts with us. It's time to put a pretty bow on this thing and put her to bed.
Absolutely. We saw a great race tonight. Oxford Plains is always going to put on a great event. And not to mention the Bootleg Outlaw Modified Series. These guys are a hoot to watch week in and week out. If you're not watching, why? This is great Saturday night short track racing in America, and these guys keep putting on these kind of events week in and week out, and it's a blast. I wish that I was going to be here next week for the kind of the debut of the new track into the season, but I think you'll be back, and I think Rahul will be back from quote unquote freelancing at the 24 hours a day. Well, I don't know. He's down there with his unacceptable racing boys, so he's on assignment. Might leave him there.
we say he's on assignment. He's on assignment.
Yeah. Who do I got to talk to get stationed at a race like that?
Yeah. Now, question is, will he bring back any content? All right, he's on assignment, but content is what we really thirst for, so we'll see.
There you go.
Brian, hey, it was a pleasure having you up here tonight, and we certainly appreciate you stepping in. And Amjad Yaman, our director, thank you very much, sir. But listen, a lot going on in the Bootleg Racing League, and if you want to find him, you can get him at bootlegracingleague.com. They run all week, Tuesday nights and Saturday nights. Tuesday nights, you can catch the Copper Line Legend Series. Registration's still open for that. They run 2 20-lap races at 7:20 Eastern Standard Time. They run the traditional Legends tracks. Then right after that, they run the White Lightning Limited Late Model Series. Those boys grid up at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. They run 100 laps, same track of the week that we run here on Saturdays. Next week, it will be Southern National Motor Speedway, and we've got the Whiskey Run Truck Series. They will run at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 50 laps next week, followed by the Crooked Still Late Model Series at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 100 laps, and then we finish the night with us. Your start time, we go up live at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, and we go racing at 9:30 for 100 laps. Lots of people to thank here for this show tonight. iRacing.com, Motorsport Simulations, XSplit, Audio Technica Corporation, Aver Media USA, all the other sponsors you see there on the screen. Additional thanks to the one and only, the Ansel Adams of camera sets, Dougie Beard, Music brought to us by Eric Ekholm. You can find him at ericekholm.com. Stay up to date with the Global Sim Racing Channel at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can catch us on Twitter at GSRC Broadcasting. Facebook, facebook.com, Global Sim Racing Channel. Again, if you want to find out more about the Bootleg Racing League, you can get them at bootlegracingleague.com. Same thing on Facebook, facebook.com, Bootleg Racing League. And listen, fans, you can read every week about these races. The recaps are done by Chris Wolfson at iRacing News and on pitroad.com. Check that out weekly. Again, next Saturday night, February the 6th, Southern National Motorsports Park, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Can't wait to see all you race fans there. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.